Okay, this one is asking for a proof that two angles match. So if the proof asks us to match up two parts of the triangle, not to prove that one triangle matches the other, what we're actually going to have to do first is prove that one triangle matches the other. Because there's something that we abbreviate as CPT. Let me say it while I'm not writing. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. CPCTC. So for example, if I have two triangles and I can, these were terribly drawn, but let's say that this side I can prove is congruent to that, this one's congruent to that, and this one's congruent to that. Well, I've got my three pieces of information. They match the other three pieces of information. So I know that these two triangles are congruent. They can overlap on one another perfectly. As soon as I know that every other part is congruent. So for example, if I wanted to ask, are these two angles congruent? Well, yes, they're part of a congruent triangle. Are these two angles congruent? Absolutely, they're parts of congruent triangles. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So we'd say that this part corresponds to this part. Therefore, since we've already shown that the triangles are congruent, we know those parts are congruent. So in the end, that makes us do this. So we send our information to proof that we have. Okay, they've given us that ST and UT are congruent, that RS and RU are congruent. We can see they share this side, so we can say RT is congruent to TR by the reflexive property. And once we have that, we have all three sides. We have shown that all three sides are matching. So what we can say after we validate that line, we can say that triangle RST is congruent to triangle RUT. The reason for that was that we have side, side, side congruence. All three sides match all three sides. And if all three sides match all three sides, if we've proven that those triangles are the same, then we can say that any angle in one triangle is going to match an angle on the other triangle because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. We can say that we know that angle SRT, the angle up here on the top left, matches URT, the angle on the top right, because they are corresponding parts of triangles that we have already proven are congruent.